And whatever point we're at in life, we have to learn to live with partial fulfillment. That's a part of maturing and accepting life that takes a long time to understand, that nothing and no one, no drug, no alcohol, no relationship, no job, nothing is going to fill us completely 100%. But we can have good enough of many different things in our life and learn to live with partial fulfillment and create a life that's meaningful and wonderful. I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I just turned 48 on Sunday. I got sober when I was 27 years old. And I grew up in Baltimore, close to here, so I kind of feel like I'm back home in a way. And I started using drugs and alcohol at a pretty young age. I was about 12 years old when I started every single day. And I went to a small private Quaker school called Friends School, and we were, a small class. We just had our 30th reunion a few weeks ago. It was incredible. And I really hid out there. I was a good student. I got into my addiction, managed to keep the grades going, which is what we would now think of as a high-functioning addict. I guess I started that way, but did not end up that way. And over time, got into more and more drugs, always alcohol, loss of values, and many, many lost opportunities in my life. And after 15 years, the last 5 of which were utter and pure hell, I finally made the decision that I needed some kind of help. And in my case, I went to 12-step meetings, and that worked really well for me. I had to go more than once a day and have been pretty religious about it, but it was the thing that really saved my life. Along the way, there were a lot of consequences of using, and just a lot of pain and a lot of misery, and ultimately the vastness of the emptiness of my soul and my life was more than I could bear. And after being an independent, self-reliant person for so long and trying to quit by myself, I finally realized that I truly needed help from something other than myself. And, from the time that I really, in my heart, sought help, I've been on a new path ever since. And if I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, anyone you know can do it, because I am a person who really should not be alive today. The fact that I'm here and I'm in recovery is proof that there is a power that's greater than all of us. And so my story continues, and in recovery, I have had to do a lot of work on a lot of areas of my life. One of the things I wanted to talk about today is Carl Jung's 4 archetypes of the woman. There are 4 parts of the woman that make up a complete woman. There's the maternal part, there's the playgirl part, who likes to have fun and go to parties. There's the sexual part, that needs no explanation. And then there's the Amazon. And the Amazon part of the woman is the part that is independent and self-sufficient and not looking to be fixed or made whole by someone else, not even her husband. It's, the Amazon is kind of the woman who goes out into the world and forges her own territory. And I'll give you an example that people might relate to, especially in a women's group. In the show Sex and the City, there are 4 characters in that show. Miranda, Samantha, Carrie, and Charlotte. Well, Carrie is the playgirl, Samantha is the sexual, Miranda is the Amazon, and Charlotte is the maternal. And, you know, they kind of beautifully crafted these 4 archetypes into one series. And I think that part of the reason that has become such a phenomenon in the culture is because almost every woman can relate to those 4 parts in one way or another. And I can tell you for myself, when I got sober, 2 of those parts were developed and 2 were not developed. My playgirl and sexual part were developed. My Amazon and maternal part were completely untouched. And so wherever you are when you get sober, ask yourself, what parts have you developed and what have you not developed? And I had to go on and go back to graduate school and become a therapist and start a practice and develop my Amazon. And then the maternal part for me, I got married 12 years ago. My husband had children from before, and those are my children. But my maternal part came out more with my patients as people I can love and nurture and take care of. And so I've had the opportunity to work on the unfulfilled aspects of myself that were barren before I got here. And, you know, it's a very, I think, useful framework to think about your own development. And that show is a great example of it. So, what is this disease about? This disease of addiction is about selfishness, right? It's all about me, how do I feel, what do I want, what do I need, what about me, me. And what's the solution? The solution is getting out of me and being of service to other people and giving something back to the world. A lot of us come in here very traumatized by what we've done to ourselves and what we've experienced in our lives through alcoholism and addiction. And I'm sure you've heard of something called PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Well, I want to introduce the concept of post-traumatic growth, because incredible power and growth can come out of traumatic times and experiences when we move from victimhood into owning our own power. I believe that the upper limits of the human capacity for growth cannot even be known. And that applies to every single person in this room. You think what you've done already is enough. Keep going, because there's more for you to do. Now, I have tried to let my life speak for something in my work and my speaking. And what I do, I'm uniquely qualified to do because I am who I am. But every single person in this room has something that only you can do. Every one of you has a gift for the world that's uniquely yours and something that you can offer that nobody else can offer. And what I want to say to you is, find your light. You have a light to shine in the world in a powerful way. That's why you're still here. The light is obstructed by the shadows of the disease. But once we get into recovery, whether it's working through the steps or treatment program or working in therapy on our individual issues, the things that cover up that light slowly start to chip away and peel off. And that light starts to shine more and more brightly as the work goes on. So my final question to you is, how do you want your life to speak, and how do you want your light to shine? Thank you.